Hey, everybody, Jake and Gino here, letting it rip today, as the G-Dad would say. Gino, how you doing?
Doing great. Let it rip, bro.
Let it rip today. So, hey, we're getting some questions out there about the difference between apartment syndications and REITs, or real estate investment trust. Now, if you're just getting started, you need to learn the lingo. That's one of the important things about education. You don't want to get on with a high-level broker or banker or team member of any sort and sound like a dumbass, right? I'm just going to be frank with you. You need to learn to speak the lingo so people think you're in the club. All right. There's a little bit of a hurdle going from noob, as the folks on Modern Warfare or whatever the video games like to call each other, to becoming a real estate professional. And the key is understanding the terminology. It's a big part of the game getting started. If you can't speak the lingo, you're going to look like an outsider. Gino, what do you have to say about that?
Jake, your language becomes your experience in life. What do I mean by that? Very simply, if you have a financial intelligence and financial language, that's going to become your experience. Let me share a story with everybody here. We had a podcast with Sharon Lechter. Go check it out on the Jake and Gino channel. Amazing. She's an amazing woman. She talks about her mission statement in life is, have I added value to it? That's what she discusses.
That's what she asks herself, right?
Yes, exactly. And in the podcast, I had shared a story with her about my son investing in our deals. And it's amazing. My son, 17 years old, started investing, didn't know what an owner draw was, didn't know what a refi and roll was, didn't know what economic occupancy was, but invested money. And a year later, he's asking me, Dad, where's the cash flow? Where are the owner draws? When are we refining the property? So your language becomes your experience. He didn't know it before. All of a sudden, he experienced it in life. It was the education that I was teaching him, but it was also the action, taking action, investing in a deal. And Sharon Lechter actually said, that's the best thing that you can do for your children. Teaching them that people with financial intelligence can change the world for the better. Now my son has that ability to be able to speak financially in those terms. So when he's going out and he's looking at a deal, it's amazing. I've changed his mindset on top of that. He's not asking me for the owner draws to keep and to go out and to spend money. He's saying, Dad, when's the next deal? Because I want to invest in the next deal. And that's the best thing. So to make that long story short, we really need to understand the financial language. Like Jake said, you don't want to sound like an uneducated investor. And what do you need? You need the education. Jake and Gino provides that. We're an education and an implementation company. Education times action will equal your results, Jake.
Yeah. And gang, if you don't know this stuff right now, that's okay. No freak out, right? Multifamily is not a pie in the sky. It's work, plain and simple. It's work getting started.
Syndication. Let's get into it, Jake. Syndication is just a group of investors represented by the active and the passive. It's called the active or the general partners putting the deal together, and the passive are the limited partner, right? And it's very important when you think of this. Really, syndication is just a pooling of capital. You're getting a bunch of investors out there that can't buy that apartment deal by themselves. So they're going to go out, the active ones, let's say Jake and Gino are going to run this deal. They need to pull capital from investors getting out there and to go buy that apartment complex or that shopping mall or whatever, multi-class or whatever you're looking at, an office building or self-storage. It's just getting investors together and pooling their capital together. Obviously, we're not attorneys out here, so you need to go and talk to a syndication attorney because you're going to be putting documents together. You're really creating a security when you're creating a syndication. So for us, we love the model because if you don't have money to get into multifamily, everyone's saying one of their limiting beliefs is, I don't have money to get into multifamily. Like Jake said, it's a pie in the sky. Well, syndication is an amazing tool. It's one of the tools out there that you can utilize to get into a deal. And if you're running out of capital, other than refi and roll, which we love to do, we've refied over $15 million from our portfolio. Syndication is an amazing tool to utilize to get into those bigger deals. Quick story. Sitting in the library, it was March of 2016. My boy over there goes, look at this deal, Knoxville. It's like $55 million. And the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to throw up in my mouth. Has anyone ever had that feeling before? I was like so scared. Like, what's this guy talking about? Where are we going to get the money? That was my first. And Jake's like, well, let's look at syndication. Let's look at syndicating the deal. And when he told me that, everything changed for me because right there, my limiting belief was I can only do small deals. I can only do $8 or $9 or $10 million deals, which was big at the time, but still it was something that we could do internally. When Jake put that thought into my mind, it was all about education. It was all about going out there and interviewing and podcasting all the top syndicators. And eventually, 2 years later, what you focus on grows. We did our very first syndication. But from that one thought of stretching it out and saying, let's do a $55 million syndication, we didn't get that deal. We lost the deal. But the idea of just starting out the process and that first step of getting that education, and then ultimately coupling that education with the action, we landed our first syndication 2 years later.
Yeah. So think about this for a second. These are tools to fulfill needs. Okay. The need of the GP or the sponsor is probably a lack of capital, also a desire to be into larger deals. Why? Scalability, teams, resource. Okay. There's value in having a larger portfolio and control. Okay. That's the need of the GP, looking for that capital, looking for that control, looking for that scalability, looking to build a business. Now, the limited partner, maybe a doctor, maybe a professional, looking to access real estate for their portfolio. They want to own real assets. So they say, okay, you're going to do the work. I'm going to give up 30% of the deal, but I get to invest directly into this multifamily cash flowing asset. So that's fulfilling their need, which is a lack of time. They have some capital. So that's why syndication as a product makes a lot of sense for folks.
So Real Estate Investment Trust is a company that makes investments in income producing real estate. Think apartment complexes. Investors who want to access real estate can, in turn, they buy shares of a REIT, Real Estate Investment Trust, and through that, share ownership effectively add the real estate owned by the REIT to their investment portfolios. Great way to actually go out there and to actually diversify your investments, your holdings in real estate.
Yeah, and this is an evolutionary process. If you're a REIT, you're going to be traded, okay? And this solves the liquidity issue with traditional syndications. So you may start out syndicating deals or groups of deals, but over time, as you grow and you professional up, as we like to say, maybe you have the capability at that point to package this stuff and create a REIT, and therefore you're going to have benefits from the REIT side of things, but also the investors. They may want more liquidity, they may want a kind of stock transaction. That's what the REIT provides, that liquidity that traditional syndications do not. So think of an evolution and advancement, into bigger, more professional systems.
And Jake always likes it when I give free stuff away. So here's the book, Passive Investing Made Simple. If you want to learn more about the syndication model, hit me up, Gino@jakeandgino.com. I will send you a PDF copy. And if you like the video down below, just click the like button. Leave us a comment. Any questions, we're here to answer all your questions. Once again, Gino@jakeandgino.com. Learn the syndication process, everybody.
Looking good in that fall outfit. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Take care, Jake.